really simple bucktail jig that'll catch a lot of smallmouth bass for you. I got a 1/32 ounce jig head on there. I'm going to take some yellow bucktail. I'll tie this body in 2 pieces. And the reason I do that is so that I can have kind of a wispier tail sticking out, but it'll still be the yellow bucktail. So I've got some yellow bucktail here. I'm going to clean out the fuzzy stuff underneath and any stray fibers. I might stack this bunch just a little bit. If you don't have a hair stacker for fly tying, you could just take the long fibers that are in there, pull them out, and then rearrange them like that so that you get a more even tips to the bucktail. So we'll take that, we'll make it about as long as the body is and snip that off. And what's underneath here, you can see there's kind of a taper to this. There's actually a wire keeper on these jig heads that I cut off. The reason I pick these jig heads is because they're just a round ball, so there's not a lead collar coming down, so it's a lot easier to tie onto them. So I'm going to get down there, make a couple of wraps like that, and then take my thumbnail and push it down. And that's going to help to wrap those bucktail fibers around the hook shank. So I can tighten that down. Now I can advance my thread up towards the front. I'm using the red thread here because I want it to be seen. It's going to have a little red thread collar on it when it's done. So now I can take another clump of bucktail. And I'll do the same thing. You see I got some of the brown ones in there too, but it's okay, it doesn't matter. If you've got a little comb like this, you could use that too to clean it out. What you don't want is all the little tiny underfurs and short fibers in there, short hairs, because that's going to just make it bulky. It's going to make it harder to tie. It'll cut through your thread as you start cranking down on those. So we'll get that bundle cleaned out. I'll do the same thing there. I'll just pull out the longest ones and then put them back in the bundle like that, so that the tips are roughly the same length. So I can measure that up to about the same length as what the tail is, and I'll cut that off as well. Now when I put this on, you can see I don't have the thread all the way to the jig head. I've got it back a little bit. That's so I can put these hairs right up to the jig head. That way I don't have to take a razor or scissors and try to nip everything off. So I'll take a couple of wraps around that. Then I'll do the same thing with my thumb and push that hair so that it goes around that entire hook shank. And you could turn this around. I can actually see it in the mirror, so I can see that I've got it on that side as well. Push that up, and now I can start to turn that down. I'll build a nice even collar there. You can see here I've got a little bit of red showing through, so I can push that around. You can take a needle or a bodkin and run it through there. That'll help you get the fibers that are stuck in the hook, get them out, kind of comb them out so that you can see how it looks. And like I say, you could turn this around if you want to, but since I'm looking at a mirror where you guys are, so I can see what it looks like on the other side, I'll take some tighter wraps around there now that I've got everything how I want it. Now I can whip finish it. Snip it off. I'll give it a nice dose of Sally Hansen's here. That's going to lock everything in and make this more durable. There we go, nice and pretty. We can set it aside to dry. You can tie these for your own fishing. It's kind of a traditional pattern, a traditional style of lure that you can't really buy these anymore. I think Northland still has some, they call them buckaroo, that are little bucktail jigs like this. But it was a really popular jig probably when your grandfather was fishing, or your great-grandfather, depending how old you are. But it's not something that they really sell commercially that much anymore. At least it's not easy to find. You don't just walk into the sporting goods store and grab a few bucktails off of the J-hook. So it's really easy to tie, though. Just do that. Tie the body and the tail as two separate sections like I did there, and you get a more full body like this, and as opposed to one that doesn't have a middle. It looks like a hollow-bodied fly. So do it that way. Try these out on a stream where you fish for smallmouth, and you'll find they're really effective just like this. You could put some kind of trailer or bait on there if you want to. I don't bother. I think it's fine just like this. Add some rubber legs or some flash to it if you want as well. But hey, that bucktail yellow with a chartreuse head and red thread, it's great. Just like it is. So I hope you enjoy it. I'll see you out there in the water.